part 2 of the IAM databases practice MCQ questions. Let's start. Question number 11. What is the format of an IAM policy? XML, key value pair, JSON, or tab delimited as text? So answer is JSON. The security team is very concerned about the vulnerability of the IAM administrator user account. What steps can be taken to lock down these accounts? Add MFA to the account, limit logins to the particular US state, implement a password policy on the AWS account, apply a source IP addresses condition to the policy that only grants a permission when the user is on the corporate network, and add a CAPTCHA test to the accounts. So the answer is A, C, and D, because neither limit logins to the US state nor adding a CAPTCHA test are features supported by IAM. Question number 13. Which of the following technique can you use to help your meet recovery point objective and recovery time objective requirements? DB snapshot, DB option groups, read replica, multi availability zones, deployment. So the answer is A, C, D. DB snapshot let you backup and recovery your data, while read replica and multi-array deployment let you replicate your data and reduce the time to failover. DB option group configure the engine features and don't affect RPO and RDO. Question number 40. Your AWS account administrator left your company today. The administrator has an access to the root user and the personal IAM administrator account. With these accounts, he generated other IAM accounts and keys. Which of the following should you do today to protect your AWS infrastructure? Change the password and add MFA to the root user. Put an IP restriction on the root user, rotate keys and changes password for IAM accounts, delete all IAM accounts, delete the administrator personal IAM account, relaunch all Amazon EC2 instances with the new rules. The answer is A, B, C, and E. Locking down your root user and all accounts the administrator had access to is the key here, and deleting all the IAM account is necessary and would cause a great disruption. Amazon EC2 rules use a temporary security tokens, so relaunching EC2 instance is not necessary. Your team is building an order processing system spanning a multiple availability zones. During the testing, the team wants to test how the application react to the database failover. How can you enable this type of test? Fail a multi-AZ failover from a one availability zone to another by rebooting the primary instance using Amazon RDS console. Terminate the DB instance and create a new one. Update the connection string. Create a support case asking for a failover. It is not possible to test a failover. So the answer is first, because you can force a failover from a one availability zone to another by rebooting the primary instance in the AWS management console, and this is the common supported by way to test failover with a no need to open a support case. You are designing an e-commerce web application that will scale to potentially hundreds of thousands of concurrent users. Which database technology is best suited to hold the session state for the large number of concurrent users? Relational databases with the Amazon RDS, NoSQL database stable using Amazon DynamoDB, data warehouse using Amazon Redshift, and Amazon Simple Storage Service. See, the answer is second, because NoSQL databases like Amazon DynamoDB access to scaling to hundreds of thousands of concurrent requests with the fast key value access, ideal for session and user profile data. You are creating an Amazon DynamoDB table that will contain a message for a social chat application with attributes, username string, timestamp number, and the message string. Which attribute should you use as a partition key and the short key? Username timestamp, username message timestamp, message and message timestamp. So the answer is username timestamp. Because as the partition key spreads users across a partitions, messages are often filtered by time ranges. So the timestamps make sense as the short key. Which AWS cloud services is best suited for the online analytics processing? OLAP. Amazon Redshift, Amazon RDS, Amazon Glacier, Amazon DynamoDB. So the answer is Redshift because it is an OLAP data warehouse designed for the analytics ETLs and the high-speed querying. It is not well suited for the transaction application requiring a high volumes of the small inserts or updates. Which of the followings are the best on the temporary security tokens? Amazon EC2 rules, MFA, root users, and the federations. So answer is A and D because Amazon EC2 rules provide a temporary tokens to application running on instances and federation map policies to identify from other sources via temporary tokens as well. Which of the following statements about the Amazon DynamoDB tables are true? Global secondary indexes are only created when the table is being created. Local secondary index can only be created when the table is being created. Okay, you can only have a one global index secondary index. You can only have a one local secondary index. So the answer is local secondary index can also be created when the table is created, and you can also have a one local secondary indexes. Like you can create a many global secondary indexes at any time. So even after the table has been created. Which Amazon RDS database engine supports read replicas? Microsoft SQL servers and Oracle MySQL, MariaDB, PostgreSQL and Aurora. Aurora Microsoft SQL servers and Oracle MySQL and Postgre. So the answer is MySQL, MariaDB, Postgre and Aurora. With Amazon RDS databases engine supports multi-availability zone, all of them are Microsoft SQL Server, MySQL and Oracle, Oracle, Amazon Aurora and PostgreSQL or MySQL. So the answer all of them because all of them supports multi-availability zones. Which of the following are found in an IAM policy, service name, reason, action, password? So the answer is reason, name, and action because IAM policies are independent of reason. No reason is specified in the policy. IAM policies are about to authorization for the already authenticated principal, so no password is needed. Your team runs a popular website using Amazon RDS MySQL. The marketing department just informed you about the upcoming TV features that will drive thousands of new visitors. How can you prepare your database to handle the load? So, vertically scaling the DB instances by selecting a more powerful instances class. Create a read replica to offload a read request and update your applications. Upgrade the storage from a magnetic volume to the general purpose SSD volumes. Upgrade to Amazon Redshift for the faster columnar storage. So answer is A and B, C because vertical scaling gives you a more processing power without architectural changes. Read replicas let you scale reads horizontally and busy databases are often IO bound. So upgrading to the general purpose, so provisioned IOPS SSD can provide additional request processing capacity. You monitor your production RDS state with the CloudWatch alarm sent via SNS. One night, you get an alert that your primary RDS instance has gone down. With the multi availability zone enabled, what should you do to ensure the failure happens quickly? Update your DNS to the point to the second instance's new IP address, forcing your application to fail over to the secondary instance, connect to your server using SSH and update your connection string so your application communicate with the secondary instance instead of fail primary. Take a snapshot of the second instance and create a new instance using the snapshot, then update your connection string to point to the new instance. No action is necessary. Your connection string points to the database point endpoints and AWS automatically updates these endpoints to point to your secondary instance. Option is D. Monitor the environment with the Amazon RDS attempts to recover automatically. AWS updates the DB endpoints to point to the secondary instances automatically during the availability zone failover, so manual DNS or connection string change is needed. You have been using Amazon RDS for the last year with the automated backups enabled. A team member accidentally drops an important table during a routine maintenance, causing an outage. How can you recover the missing data while minimizing the duration of the outage? Perform an undo operation and recover the table. Restore the database from the recent automated DB snapshot. Restore only the dropped table from a DB instance snapshot. The data cannot be recovered. So the answer is B. DB snapshots can restore a complete copy of the database at a specific point in time. Individual tables cannot be extracted from a snapshot alone. You are building the database tier for an enterprise application that gets occasionally activity throughout the day. Which storage type should you select as your default option? Magnetic storage, general purpose solid state drive, provisioned IOPS SSD, storage area network attached. So the answer is general purpose SSD. Which of the following workloads are good fit for the running an Amazon Redshift transactional database? Supports a busy e-commerce order processing website, report a database supporting a back office analytics, data warehouse used to aggregate multiple disparate data sources, manage a session state and user profile data for the thousands of concurrent users. So the answer is B and C. Because Amazon Redshift is designed for the analytics, ETL, and high speed querying, reporting, and data warehousing, it is not well suited for the transactional application requiring a high volumes of the small inserts and updates. When using Amazon RDS multi-AZ, how can you offload a read request from the primary? Similarly, we can go with the read replica. Thus, read out the options. Option A, configure the connection string of the clients to connect the secondary node while the primary is used for writes. Amazon RDS automatically sends a writes to the primary and sends reads to the secondary. Add a read replica DB instance and configure the client application logic to use a read replica. Create a caching environment using Amazon Elastic Cache to cache frequently used data. Update the application logic to read write from the cache. So the answer is C and D because in a multi-agent deployment, the secondary standby instance is not accessible and cannot be used to offload the reads. Read replicas and elastic cache caching layers are the supported way to offload read traffic from the primary. You are building a photo management application that maintains a metadata of millions of images in the Amazon DynamoDB table. When a photo is retrieved, you want to display the metadata attribute next to the image. Which DynamoDB operation will you choose to retrieve their metadata attribute from the table? Scan operation, search operation, query operation, find operation. So the answer is query operation because it is efficiently retrieves the items by the key from a DynamoDB table, unlike a scan which reads the entire table. That's it. Thank you.